Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the third half podcast, of course, by 8763. My name is Christopher Scott, and across from me is Javon Gapur. Well going, Gap.
Thanks for having me here, guys. Thanks for making it us, and please stay tuned to the end because I have a lot to say about this Ole frenzy that's going on.
Oh, yes. Of course, today we have, we're going to be talking about FIFA, we're going to be talking about the JFF, we're going to be talking about the Champions League, and as you said, you have something to get off your chest. Start off with FIFA, World Football. Now there has been some discussion going around that maybe World Cup needs to not be held every 4 years. That it probably should be held closer together, maybe every 2 years. I mean, that's a strange thing to me because from me know myself, World Cup is every 4 years, which is what makes it exciting.
Right.
But yeah, I don't see the reason for change it.
But wait, how it would that work? Is it that it being every 2 years? How does Euros and
that is what I was saying. Now, if you're changing the schedule, you'd have to change everything,
right?
Because you have to look at African Cup of Nations, Gold Cup. You have to look at the Asian Cup. You have to look at Euros. Mm-hmm. So how it would that imply any at all? I don't think it's a good idea. In my opinion, I think it needs to stay where it is.
Well, I mean, from my initial reaction, you can tell it's definitely not a good idea. I think it's a horrible idea. The only reason I see for this happening is a money grab, a quick money grab. Wanting it to be every 2 years, you're getting more revenue sooner than you'd normally do.
Yeah.
What is the marketing behind it? Is it to raise the prestige of the competition? Because it wouldn't. It would actually lower the prestige of the tournament. All right, so let's use the Olympic, for example. Mm-hmm. Part of the prestige of the Olympic is that athletes train up until in that fourth year, you go there and you know, say, if I fail this, I have to wait 4 more years. So it adds to the you get me?
I think that is the cool thing about the World Cup.
Exactly. So what we want players to end with every player have 12 World Cup to them name? Like it doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. Apart from and not to mention the players, we don't care about their health anymore. They play in a tournament every year. Yeah, because
you have to look at the fact that they have club football, and then, especially with the CONCACAF players like Ruben Neves, Carlos Vela, mm-hmm. Even when you go outside of CONCACAF, when you look at players like Harry Kane, that work so hard,
right?
You're going to have them now be put under a lot more pressure having this World Cup.
Exactly.
And then with a team like Germany or Brazil or Argentina, you're going to double their chances of winning a World Cup that is even greater, because what makes it so prestigious is that it happens every 4 years. It doesn't happen every year, because there was a survey that was done, and for some strange reason, 11% said every year that they would have wanted it every year, which to me is well, I don't want to use big word, people, but it was just mind-boggling, because I don't know.
You were gobsmacked.
I was astonished. I was flabbergasted.
We've been Speckledorf.
That's not even a word, and I agree with you.
But there are some people that 30% said every 2 years, which to me I think it's still foolishness.
Yeah.
And then now 14 said every 3 years. I think people started opening their eyes to this every 2 years is when Arsene Wenger came out and spoke about it. Arsene Wenger came out and talked a lot about it.
Arsene Wenger wasn't even good for being an Arsenal coach who are horrible right now. Why would we take advice from him?
I think that is when people started to kind of, okay, maybe this can work, maybe this can work. But I don't think that they should have it every 2 years. Mm-hmm. Because you're already expanding the World Cup. When it's going to be held in the United States, it's going to be expanded.
Right.
You're giving more teams an opportunity to qualify. And then now, you're going to now shorten it. So, I don't know.
They're lowering the prestige of the whole competition. It doesn't make sense.
One team that I think probably would have benefited from that every 2 years, even though I don't want to say it, is our beloved Jamaica. And speaking about that, we have not started on the right foot in our World Cup qualifiers. We thought that we could have at least, if things went the way it should have, we could have looked at 5 points. We could have been up there with Canada and the United States. But we are on 1 point. I want to hear your opinion on what we have done so far in the World Cup qualifiers. What do you think?
So it's funny you said the 2-year thing would have helped we, because I feel the opposite, because looking at it, we need time for us to realize that the current setup is not it. So if it was playing that regularly, we wouldn't have the time to adjust. Right. You get me? So I don't think it will. As it relates to the qualifications so far, you know how I feel about it. We definitely should have came out of that with 5 points. The Mexico game, out of them all, the Mexico game is the one that kills me.
Yeah, it was
because
one of the most positive.
Exactly. I think that game is when we played our best football.
Yeah.
That we played the best game in that game. You know, definitely should have came out with a point. One mistake by the coach of taking off our only defensive midfielder at the time. Cost us a point. You get me? At the Azteca, that would have been a great point. Not many teams are going to come out with a point from there.
Nope.
You get me? So that in itself was my biggest thing. And then a game that we thought we would have dominated at home in the office. First of all, you're coming at the office and you wear tracksuit as my coach. But we're not going to get into that.
Yeah.
In the office, we got our, you know what, handed to us.
Yeah.
And that... I don't know. From there, I thought that was it for this era of coaching. I thought that was it. I would never want a man to not have a food. So I'd want him to be demoted but not fired. But I definitely thought at that point we would have realized that this is not it.
This is not working.
You get what I say? Came out with a fortunate point from Costa Rica, which is good. But all in all, it was very disappointing.
Yeah.
Very disappointing.
Me think so, because if you ever see the Panama coach, the Dutchman, came out, suit, clean, you know, him white and black, I know say he mean business,
Strong.
but he changed the idea of this Panama team. Now, Panama is not more of a pass possession type of football team. They are running and gunning football team. This man came in, had his ideology because of where he was from. I think he's from Denmark, but he's from Europe, where that possession football a lot of times is very important. Came with that ideology, and it's working for them because they drew with Mexico. Them absolutely destroy we at the office on our home ground. So they're right up there with Canada and the United States and even Mexico, because persons thought Mexico would have, even though they didn't have, you know, Raul Jimenez, they didn't have Javier Hernandez, you know, Giovanni Dos Santos, those people, but they thought that Panama would have lost to Mexico. They were in it. As a matter of fact, they scored first and Panama came back and equalized. So I think that Jamaica just have to step up in the next window. And in October, we have a very tough one. We have away to the United States, home to Canada, and away to Honduras. But we will not be having at least one of our Reggae boys because Liam Moore is out injured. Peterborough United is who Reading played on Tuesday, as we're recording this on Saturday, September 18. On Tuesday, Reading won 3-1 in that game against Peterborough United, and the captain, Liam Moore, hobbled off in the first half, and the coach said that he hobbled off in crutches, so he will not be able to play for Reggae Boys in the October window. Kind of a blow for the Reggae Boys instead.
Big blow. But the thing about it is, and in looking at it, you know, Liam Moore is a quality centre back. But whenever you choose your Jamaica team, it has Damian Lowe in the centre back, right? It's one of the first names.
Yeah, have to be there.
And so the fact that we have him, and if you're going to tell me that the replacement for Moore can be Ethan Pinnock of Brentford, right? It's somewhat of an upgrade if you ask me, right?
At the time of we're recording this, had a very good game where they won 2-0 to Watford.
Another low-scoring game for them. You know, I don't think it's been a game this season where they conceded more than one.
I don't think so.
And they've had like 2 or 3 clean sheets. And Ethan Pinnock is one of the first names in that back line because I've seen games, I think in the Arsenal game, what's his face? Egier, how do you pronounce his name? It's one of the centre-back partners came off the field. And then in the other game, this game that they played, the other centre-back came off, Anderson. So whenever the manager seems like he wants to change something in the back line, it's never Ethan Pinnock. You get me? And so I feel like them having that faith in him means he's a great, great quality to come in for an injured Liam Moore. So I'm not that worried about that. But it's it's a tough blow for Liam Moore himself. So, you know, prayers.
Well, prayers go up to Liam Moore. Hope he returns stronger. Of course, we say Damian Lowe, Nana will always be a first option in that back line. I would want to try Nana along with Pinnock. We've seen Mariappa and Lowe work pretty decent, but I'd want to see Pinnock and Damian Lowe in that back line. But we might not even play the home game at Canada at the office. We might move it somewhere else. No, the JFF is saying that there's some financial problems, or they were spending a lot of money when they kept the match against Panama at the office at the National Stadium. And they want to move it. The JFF wants to move the World Cup qualifying games abroad to recoup for the lost revenue that they had from playing the game in an empty national stadium, of course, due to COVID. But one of the places that would move to is the United States. Do you think that maybe that is a plus or minus for us?
When you're reading that out a while ago, in my head I was like, why is it always something that has to do with money and saving money and we being broke? But the more you go on with it, I realized that maybe it makes sense for a couple of reasons. One, monetary-wise, you know, the JFF definitely cannot run without money, right? As much as we want them to, I would love for them to be playing at the office and this, that, and the third. Monetary-wise, it's good for them. It's a good move. I wouldn't have a problem with it monetary-wise. And also, in terms of, if it means we have a very high-quality pitch in the United States for our players to play in, I think that would be a big plus for us. One of the main things about playing in Jamaica is the pitch not being at the best standard. You know what I mean? So if it means we go over there, make some money, because either way the fans wouldn't be in the stadium. So it's not like we're saying, we're depriving our people from seeing the game and chanting for the teams, whatever. You get what I'm saying? The only difference is more time with a warm, and it might affect the opponents and this, that, and that. But apart from that, I think it's a good move. What do you think about it?
It's because it's like you said, it's the fans are not going to be here either way, because you're not gonna have persons just for one qualifier are gonna go abroad. Probably if they do move it in the October window, that is going to be 2 consecutive games that would play in the United States, because we would have played away to the United States in the first encounter, and then even though it's a home game, would have been in the United States still for that second game versus Canada. So I think that in terms of the familiarity, it would have been good for us, because knowing that we played the first game in the United States, the familiarity wouldn't be a problem playing the second game against Canada. Right? So I think that it would be a plus and a minus, because I would have loved to as a sports journalist, would I love to have it down here. But then no, would have to buy a ticket, take flight. No, that. So, but now the question is, having it there, would you keep it at the same venue as the USA's game, or would you move it to a different state?
I think I would go with the same venue.
Makes
again,
sense.
Because as you say, the familiarity of the pitch.
And finances, because you'd have to move it.
Exactly. So you have to buy a plane ticket or bus, whatever you plan for transport with. So it would make the best sense. Yeah,
it would make the best sense, because like I said, finances is very important, especially in these COVID times.
I don't know, JFF love a little saving, so maybe if them tell the hotel, say, we'll stay right for a week, or
I think they wouldn't have a problem.
Could I get a better package?
Right. True.
So, I'm sorry, kids, you can save some money.
Yeah. Boy, I never want to get into that. But, I mean, you know, speaking about, you know, of course, Ethan Pinnock and what he's been able to do, you know, one potential reggae boy, Ivan Toney, scored today, assisted. Well, as we're doing this recording, ladies and gentlemen, Ivan Toney scored and assisted today. So, and Leon Bailey had a fantastic game today.
Great game. Well, a great 15 minutes.
As we recorded, a great 15 minutes. Hope he recovers from his injury, because he did have an injury. And the Jamaicans and potential reggae boys are on fire in the Premier League. What do you think about their performance today?
It was great to watch. We were watching the Bailey coming on just now, and
you said it should have been a goal. But
exactly. So the cross from the corner, I think, was a goal. So in my eyes, he scored 2 goals today in 15 minutes.
Guys, you need to watch. You guys, you need to watch it, because we saw the replay and obviously it came off the head of Lucas Digne.
Right.
But as long as and you can't really determine, because it was curling this way, it would have gone into, because direction is a hell of a thing when you're crossing a ball, when we're kicking a free kick. It's a hell of a thing.
Yeah, but
so you don't know if it's going on target. So that's why I understood why they gave.
But I'll forever have it that he scored 2 goals in 15 minutes in the Premier League.
Yeah, because we're Jamaica, we're very patriotic.
So, very, very good outing. It seemed like he put too much power in that strike that he scored. Knee injury came about. I don't mean to make fun of it, because it's a sad thing. Because, you know, it's clear that a fit Bailey would cause havoc in the Premier League.
You saw.
You get me? So, very sad to see that. Ivan Toney, I don't know if he's going to choose us, but do we need another striker?
I don't think so, you know. Honestly, I don't think so, because you have Mikel Antonio, you have Shamar Nicholson, you have Corey Burke, you have Kemar Roof, you have Andre Gray.
Exactly.
There's so many strikers. So if you're getting one, you're going to have to drop somebody. And we're not sure, based on how he would fit into the system of Tapa Whitmore.
Right.
So I wouldn't want to deprive him of maybe an opportunity to play for England. And of course, he's not. He doesn't fit into the system of Jamaica, and then you give him an appearance, and then boom, he's not able to play for another senior team.
Right. But on that point, still, he probably would fit in, because, you know, Tapa love a long ball, and Ivan Toney is that.
Tall figure.
So there's that.
Yeah. So, all right, so talking about the EPL, we're going to change a letter out of the E, jump to F, and talk about the Fantasy Premier League.
Yeah,
now,
strong.
Another member of the 876 Stream family, Brian Pitter, had some persons that we must have in our FPL team. How are you doing in the FPL, by the way?
I think that I'm joint second right now. Looking at the live scores.
You're a big league player.
Joint second. You know, whatever I do it well. By the way, the Stream League, sponsored by Flow, you have a chance of winning. If you come in the top 3 for each month, you get a prize. Yeah. You know, you already know that. If you follow, you know all of that. So get going. The link I got there somewhere. Click the link, join the league.
Somewhere.
Yes, me pop it up right there, so.
Right there, sir. All right. So the must-haves for Brian. First on his list is Mohamed Salah. He gathered 38 points in the last game. Fifth fastest player to 100 Premier League goals. Of course, a lot of them, even though I'm gonna give him his credit, a lot of them came in that record-shattering season, his first season at Liverpool. Not his first stint in the Premier League, of course. He played for Chelsea and then decided to go to Italy. So the last weekend, which is, as we're recording this, remember guys, Saturday, September 18, last weekend was where he had gotten these 38 points and he cost about 12.5. So you have him in your team?
Definitely. It's a FPL legend. You know, if you want to catch us in the big league in the top 5, you know, man like me, get these, because all the 5 that Brian outlined are great picks. You know, if you have any of them, you're sure points, you know. So it's a great list from him. I saw the list, and I was proud of him. So follow Peter. If you want to catch people like me in the league, follow Peter.
All right, so the second person, as we're going to quickly go through this, The second person is Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, making his second return to the Premier League and second return to the Red Devils. Scored twice against Newcastle last week. Has been scoring goals. He scored once in that Champions League defeat 2-1 to Young Boys. He has been absolutely fantastic. Only got 13 points, but he's making quite an impact so far. The third player, Paul Pogba, 7 assists so far this season in the Premier League alone. Absolutely fantastic, Paul Pogba. I think that once he's in that advanced box-to-box midfield role, that's when he is most dangerous, and that's exactly where he has been playing. He has been fantastic this season, having that CDM sitting in front of the back four and really protecting that forehand, and that allows him to move. Now, there is one goalkeeper on this list that Brian has listed, and Edison from Manchester City. Should we even mention it? Two-time goalkeeper of the year for the Premier League, Golden Glove winner. Always fantastic. Reactionary time is good. So, yeah. Romelu Lukaku, second stint at Chelsea, third stint in the Prem. Well, not third stint, second stint in the Prem. He has been a journeyman in the Premier League, played for West Brom, played for Everton, came to Manchester United, back at Chelsea. Has been scoring goals like Cristiano since his return. Scored in that 1-0 win that they had in the Champions League. Has garnered 23 points. His cost is 11.6. Ruben Diaz, who was the player of the year last season, has been a rock in the defense for Manchester City. He has garnered 26 points from the previous week. And then one person who I think has surprised me in this FPL is the man Alonso from Chelsea. That wing back, he has been fantastic for Chelsea. Him and Reece James have been really just a menace for the opponents. And I think being in that advanced role, he is a dead ball specialist. I think he's one of the best in the league, of course. Somebody can fight me on this. I think that James Ward-Prowse from Southampton is one of the best, if not the best, dead ball specialist in the Premier. But he is right up there in the upper echelon of dead ball specialists. So he's good. So you guys can check those persons out. Remember, as Gap said, link will be in the description to check.
And the code right as well.
The code is there, so you can check to see what we're going on. But Gap said he's tied for second.
Yeah, I'm just want to big up the people with the top 5 for a second. Because we don't want to.
Him not big up nobody in the people. Him not do that. He's just trying to be a good sport.
So I've been looking for the live thing, and as we're recording, we have Daniel Williams at the top. I'm tied in second with Matthew Smith. So you have Matthew Smith and me, and I am tied on 375 points, which is 6 points behind Daniel Williams. After me, there's Romario Smith, a fellow college man trying to beat me, and there's Travis McKenzie following Romario Smith. So that's the top 5 for now. Remember, the top 3 gets prizes, so we still have some work to do before the month done. But that's it, All
right. So to end this show, we've seen a lot, we've heard a lot. That No Make Sense is a section of this podcast where we're just gonna allow you have about 4 minutes to rant what you need to rant about. What say you, Gap?
People.
Man, take off him glasses, people.
Manchester United on Wednesday and Tuesday sat atop of the English Premier League, the best league in the world, unbeaten. And we played a team away in the Champions League, where the best in Europe goes to compete, with 10 men for an hour. Remember, Champions League, when you start a Champions League tournament, when you go into a tournament for Champions League, you say, let's win our home games and try not to lose our away games. We went into an away game, lost by 1 point. Remember, we played with 10 men for 60 minutes because one person decided that they cannot control a ball and then lunged into what was deemed a critical challenge.
Was a silly challenge.
Was a very silly challenge from an individual player, right? We held out, manager made his substitutions, held out for a draw, didn't happen because another individual decided that he wanted to lose this game. So he passed the ball straight to his opponent. And we lost the game away in the Champions League, our first game. And this result, for some reason, has sent media and social media into a Ole out frenzy. That no make sense to me, brother. You get what I say? Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over a Manchester United team that was horrid under Jose Mourinho. Players lacking confidence, the team lacking a place, the team lacking entertainment, no form of ball game being played, plus no points being garnered, right, at the time. Ole Gunnar came in, he played, the first thing he did, he brought in Mike Phelan. That action in itself tells you this coach wants to win. The right hand to the most winningest coach ever, Mike Phelan, came in just behind Ole, right? So that shows you what he's about. Now, he came in, got some results. We know the story, 2018-2019 season, we know how it go. We played with Pereira in the camp. We bash him, well, why are you playing Pereira and Lingard? These guys are not good enough for Manchester United, blah, blah, blah. The moment he got Bruno, Pereira had never made a team selection for another game. Lingard got loaned out when we got Bruno. Right. So what that means is, I just didn't have anyone to replace these guys. I had to play them. There was no one better that I saw better than these guys. So I played them. Now we're having the same issue with one Fred, who I am convinced is not Brazilian. The only reason why I have little concern, a little feeling that he might be Brazilian is because he had to sit out. Did he sit out for the game because of the whole Brazilian thing? So yeah. He was part of that group, and that made me kind of convinced he might be Brazilian after all. But not good enough. We know this. Mike Phelan came on to an interview saying we're looking for a midfield, straight up. He is there with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He said we're looking for a midfielder. That's coming from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So Ole Gunnar knows the problem. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer put himself in this position being so good. You know why? You come, yes, he said the previous manager, is either them focus on Premier League and say, yo, more top 4 for going to the Champions League, or me I go finish 17th at the Premier League, but me I go win the UEFA Cup. You come in at the man them team, I finish 2nd behind Manchester City and also a challenge for title. No, we're going to raise the expectation for you. You're too good. But now that you are so good and we raise that expectation, we want you out. That no make no sense. That no make no sense to me. What says you, sir?
All right. So, guys, I am just going to say, all of this that Gap is talking about, this man has no in-game tactics at all. First of all, Scott McTominay is not a CDM. Fred, not a CDM. He has played the two of them. We have had some terrible results against some teams we should be beating, but we don't win. Young boys, we were leading them by a goal to nil before that horrid challenge. I have no gripe about, taking off Sancho, putting on Dalla because we need an extra defender. I just think that in-game tactics over these 2.5 seasons that Ole has been coaching this team, right? We have not gotten any progression to say, listen, we can challenge for a title. He went to 5 semifinals and 1 final. That 1 final against Villarreal last season in the Europa League, we were heavy favorites. I can bet $5,000 on Villarreal to win, and I'd be a rich man today. That's how heavy favorite Manchester United was. There's no way you can play Fred at CDM. Fred does not play CDM. I have been watching French in Shakhtar Donetsk. Fred does not play CDM. Fred is a more advanced box-to-box midfielder, but Fred is not a midfielder. When you a CDM, when you put Nemanja Matic, who at Chelsea was playing as a CDM, sometimes a box-to-box, but most times his primary role was a CDM. He played Matic as a CDM, played Pogba alongside of him, played Greenwood, played Jadon Sancho, played Ronaldo up front, and played Bruno Fernandes behind him. What was the result? Persons that we were supposed to be beating, we absolutely destroyed. There was no competition with Newcastle and us. None. You know why? Because a person that is sitting in front of the back 4 can defend that back four, can hold the ball well, start a lot of the plays, which is the primary objective of a CDM, right? Even more so, Donny van der Beek. That's another point. Donny van der Beek. We've paid over $30 million for Donny van der Beek. Yet we're still not playing Donny van der Beek. We played Donny van der Beek alongside Fred, and he played a very good game. You take off Donny van der Beek in the game that we lost to Young Boys, and suddenly the pace and the momentum of the team started to shift, right? Now, I am saying, okay, we cannot blame individuals because, of course, players make mistakes, we have to blame them. But it's been going on too long where these in-game tactics that Ole has been implying, so to speak, quote unquote, is not working. We have been labeled as, oh, we're favorites. You think no, we've been labeled as favorites to challenge. We've been challenging. At one point, Manchester City were 15th in the table. 15th. We were top 5 at that point. At one point, we were topping the table last year. We allowed Manchester City to come back, drawing meaningful games, losing meaningful games, and allow Manchester City to get back into the game. You know why? In-game tactics caused Pep to overstep Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United. I love Manchester United. Been watching them since 1999. I love them. But there's no way I will make Ole Gunnar Solskjaer do inept stuff in-game and expect them to progress. Because we are a better team, we're going to progress to semi-finals and finals. But if we don't have a coach that will change the game while the game is happening, then we will not win. You know why Villarreal won the Europa League last season? It's because a man that is called Unai Emery won the Europa League with Sevilla, came and outcoached Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That is why he won.
You know why they won the Europa League? Because it came down to penalties, which is literally individual luck and talent.
We scored first and we allowed them back into the game.
And we lost.
Guys, I hope that he comes with something else other than this Ole's out rant. But as I said, thank you guys so much for listening to Third Half Podcast. It's been a very, very good podcast, a very good discussion where we talk about a lot of things. Remember, guys, to follow 876 Stream. Tune in next time.